Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to now 500,000 subscribers. Listen, my friends, we're living in chaos. Every day you wake up, new chaos. Every day you go to bed, more chaos. And what is this community doing? We're unpacking for you, raw and unfiltered, facts. No innuendo here, purely facts. And that's why I'm going to ask you to subscribe, to watch, to comment, and to share with your friends, because building this community is essential for 2026. Now, I'm going to start by talking about Trump, who has been parroting that he now wants to deport American citizens. I mean, this is, I don't even know where to go with this. He wants to deport American citizens, completely unheard of. And he says this at a presser yesterday when the topic came up. Here's what he said about sending Americans who are convicted of crimes to other countries. By the way, in complete violation of the U.S. Constitution. Never before have we shipped off criminals, and I don't care if it's violent or nonviolent. They will not have the protections of the Constitution or of America's jurisprudence in a foreign land. Is that going to stop Trump? No. And here's what he had to say. Play the clip.
Secretary Rubio announced a deal this week that would allow potentially American citizens who are criminals to be put in a different country. Is that something you're looking to do?
No, I didn't know that he announced that yet, but if he did, it's fine, yeah. We have hardened criminals, horrible people. You see them pushing people into subways. The train is coming last week. Guy walking around, just sees somebody waiting for the train. Train's coming 40 miles an hour, and he gets pushed into the subway. And that happens all the time. These are sick people. If we could get them out of our country, we have other countries that would take them. They could. It's no different than a prison system, except it would be a lot less expensive, and it would be a great deterrent. Send them to other countries. If we could go a step further, in other words, we're talking about getting the criminals out of our country that come in through other countries illegally, right? The illegal migrants, as I call them. Well, we have people that are just as bad as them in our country. If we could get them out, I'd be very happy.
So you would pay El Salvador to house them? Said that he wanted you to pay a fee.
Yeah, the funniest part is where he said, oh, I didn't know that Marco Rubio brought that up. This is not something that Trump was unaware of while sitting there at the Lincoln desk in the Oval Office. No, it's something that he has talked about before. So why not just turn around and say, yeah, I knew Marco Rubio was talking about it. Instead, another journalist asks him, which countries have offered to take our criminals? Because according to Donald, everybody wants to take our criminals. Play the clip.
What countries have offered to take American citizens to deport? What other countries have offered to take these American citizens?
Numerous, many. And Marco brought it up today. I'm glad he did, because a lot of people are thinking it. When I watch some of the crimes being committed in New York City and Chicago, look at Chicago, the volume of crime that they have and the viciousness of the crime. These people are horrible people. And if somebody thinks they're going to be wonderful citizens someday, they're wrong. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're bad. These are hard, tough criminals. In many cases, they're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. But they're very dangerous. If I could get them out of the country and be in some other country where they're glad to have them because they make a small fee compared to what we'd pay to a private prison, or to, put them in one of our prisons that cost even more money, I think it would be great. I'd love to get them the hell out of our country. Thank you very much, everybody.
I mean, why not just turn around and have public executions? That sounds to me like it would be a great deterrent. In fact, that's something that Donald had said before, that he wants to bring back executions for these hardened criminals. I mean, why pay anybody? Why feed them? Why clothe them? Why house them? Why provide them medical care or anything when, in your estimation, we should ship them off, or they're just, they're not worthy of the constitutional rights that are conferred upon them. I'm speechless when it comes to some of the stuff coming out of this guy's mouth today. And during this press conference, doesn't stop there. Trump then goes on and he signs an executive order because What's a press conference without the execution of an executive order withdrawing the United States from the United Nations Human Rights Council as well as the United Nations RWA? Play the clip.
In light of numerous actions taken by a number of bodies of the United Nations, which exhibit a deep anti-American bias, we have an executive order prepared for your attention that would withdraw the United States from the UN Human Rights Council, would withdraw the United States from the UNRWA, which is a refugee organization, and would also review American involvement in UNESCO, which has also exhibited anti-American bias. More generally, the executive order calls for a review of American involvement and funding in the UN in light of the wild disparities in levels of funding among different countries that, as you've expressed previously, is deeply unfair to the United States.
So I've always felt that the UN has tremendous potential. It's not living up to that potential right now. It really isn't, hasn't for a long time. It has, there are great hopes for it, but it's not being well run, to be honest, and they're not doing the job. A lot of these conflicts that we're working on should be settled, or at least we should have some help in settling them. We never seem to get help. That should be the primary purpose of the UN, the United Nations. And again, it's got great potential, and based on the potential, we'll continue to go along with it, but they got to get their act together.
What would they need to do, sir, to get their act together?
Well, they got to be fair to countries that deserve fairness. They have some countries, as you know, that are outliers, that are very bad, and they're being almost preferred as countries to those that do their job and are doing a good job. And they have to really, they're going to end up losing, a lot of countries are going to end up losing their credibility like other organizations, and then they're going to be nothing.
We're going to lose our credibility. I mean, we're talking about human aid, human rights. Trump was then asked if this also means that USAID is going away. Play this clip.
It has to be corrupt. Nobody could approve that. They could only approve that if they were getting kickbacks. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars.
And it sounds like you're going to wind down USAID.
It sounds like it. I mean, I think so. Yeah.
So when that happens, which part of the government?
Well, I could see Marco Rubio being in charge, State Department, because they're giving money to. I mean, some of the money is well spent, I guess, but much of it is really fraudulent.
With no basis and no factual information other than probably someone like a Stephen Miller turned around and told him. And that's good enough for him. Now, of course, everything is bad except for what he's doing. Most successful 2 weeks of any president's start in America's history. He goes on to say that Elon and Doge have been doing a great job. What do you think? Play the clip.
Doesn't seem to work.
Secretary.
Elon Musk, sir, thank you, sir. On Elon Musk, how often are you talking to him? And have there been ideas that he's brought to you that you've said, oh no, wait a minute, this is going a little too far?
Well, many ideas, but look, he's done a great job. Look at all the fraud that he's found in this USAID. It's a disaster what the people, radical left lunatics, they have things that nobody would have even believed. The whole thing with $100 million spent on you know what, with money going to all sorts of groups that shouldn't deserve to get any money. With the money, I'd like to see what the kickbacks are. How much money has been kicked back? Who would spend that kind of money to some of the things that you read about and I read about and I see every night on the news and every morning when I read the papers? Who would spend money for that? I would say this, the people that got all that money, are they kicking it back to the people that gave it from government? No, that's, to me, very, very corrupt. The real question is, how much of a kickback has there been? And one of the things I want to investigate rapidly, because I've never seen anything to this extent.
Yeah. Again, just throwing out idle conjecture and so on. And Elon's doing a great job. I'm not even sure what he's doing, Meanwhile, in the spirit of changing our country, Trump then turns around and he speaks about Linda McMahon, Secretary of Education, getting rid of the Department of Education. No, seriously. He wants Linda McMahon to set things up so well that we can now get rid of the Department of Education. Play the clip.
Her to put herself out of a job, education department. So we're ranked number 40 out of 40 schools, right? We're ranked number 1 in cost per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. And we're ranked at the bottom of the list. We're ranked very badly. And what I want to do is let the states run schools. I believe strongly in school choice. But in addition to that, I want the states to run schools. And I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
Do you think that's something you can do with an executive order, or are you going to ask Congress to do it?
I would like to be able to. Look, if I could.
Let me also say, what's a good press conference without threatening Iran? Play that clip.
If you're unhappy to sign it, if it's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani.
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do, not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why, lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader, or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran.
Yeah. So I guess what he's talking about is having J.D. Vance hit the nuclear button, right? Serious? Lastly, per usual, Fox News jumps in. It's a total fucking joke, by the way. And while Trump is getting rid of necessary federal funding and assistance, the UN, RWA and USAID and everything else, their reporter, Peter Doocy, it's very important, has to ask Trump an incredibly important question. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Play the clip.
Let's go, Trump.
Guys, let's go.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Thank you.
I don't want to say, but there's a certain quarterback that seems to be a pretty good winner.
And just last one, because you.
Yeah. Look, let me say I'm not going to disagree. It's the one thing with Trump I totally agree on. I think Kansas City, I think Mahomes is just phenomenal. But then again, it's extremely important. We're talking about right now, right after the complete and total annihilation of Iran and the complete destruction of, the Department of Education, dismantling the Department of Education, stripping USAID and the United Nations and signing executive orders. I think it's extremely important, and I think it's exactly appropriate for somebody like Peter Doocy, or we should just call him Douchey, right, to start talking about the Super Bowl. Great timing, Fox. We're extremely impressed. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.